Ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon we recognize 26 amazing women who are helping to build a strong foundation for the Pittsburgh region. The work they do for our companies, our neighborhoods, and our families are unmatched, and we are honored to recognize their achievements. Welcome to the Pittsburgh Business Times 2020 Women of Influence Awards.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Evan Rosenberg. I'm the publisher of the Business Times. Thanks so much for joining us today for our Women of Influence Awards program done virtually. You know, the Grateful Dead sang back in the late 70s, what a long, strange trip it has been. And indeed, for all of us, it has been long and it has been strange. But we appreciate your willingness to hang in there with us as we pivot to this significant virtual moment. Perhaps at no time in our lifetime has it ever been more critical to recognize accomplishment and recognize leadership. And that's what we'll bring you this afternoon. 26 women who are examples of leadership in the community, leadership in their companies and their organizations, and you'll hear all about that as we move along today. Whether we present these events to you in person or virtually, they cannot happen without the generous support of our sponsors. The Women of Influence Awards program is presented by McGee Women's Research Institute. In addition, we've also received generous support from Aspire Grant and Development, Nemacolin Woodlands Resort, 84 Lumber, Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh Foundation, and our event production team at Skinny Tie Media. In addition to our sponsors, we have a host of VIP supporters. Thanks to each of you as well. And now it brings me great pleasure to introduce to you the CEO of McGee Women's Research Institute, Michael Anakin.
Good afternoon. It's my honor and privilege to welcome you here tonight to the Women of Influence Class of 2020. Oh, wait, we're not doing this? Okay, just kidding. It's sad that we can't be together tonight, but I wanted to take a moment to thank all of you for everything you've done for the Pittsburgh community over this past year. Clearly, you're pioneers in the corporate community and you're making a difference, and we absolutely appreciate that. And I wanted to just let you know how important it was for us to promote this event to our audience and to help support the Women of Influence 2020. And hopefully in this format, we'll be able to reach an audience that really appreciates what you've done and understands the commitment you've made to the community that is Pittsburgh and also around the world. So thank you very much. Now, it may seem ironic that a man is speaking at an event honoring women, but I'm very comfortable with that. In fact, I'm starting to get used to it. I coach girls basketball. I have a wife and 2 daughters who I seem to learn from every day. Some days more efficiently than others. Those of you who know me understand what I'm talking about. And as the CEO of the largest research institute in the United States that's dedicated to women's health, the impact that the people around me are making every day by devoting their entire careers to the diseases that affect women inspires me. And I see how we're making a difference in not only the lives of women locally, but in the lives of women around the world. So I'm hoping that me being here today and speaking to you will also inspire you to help us in this critical mission. We're extremely proud of the work we do at McGee Women's Research Institute, from lowering HIV transmission rates to finding ways to dramatically improve the health of women across the lifespan, helping them live better, longer lives. But we recognize that we still have a long way to go. And while we're happy to forge that path, we can't accomplish our goals without help. And so we're asking you today to help us establish real and lasting impact by helping us tell our story in the corporate community and help us reach communities all over the United States and all over the world that need our help. I have a small story about one of the HIV drugs we're working on that allows women to protect themselves against HIV/AIDS transmission when condom use can't be negotiated. We have a drug that in an 11,000 women clinical trial stopped the spread of HIV by 30%. That drug was just commented on by the European Union. our delivery methodology allows women to use that drug discreetly and at their own administration locally so that they can protect themselves against HIV transmission. That drug is on its way to getting CE approval from the European Union and soon FDA approval. That same drug we're looking into using to stop the spread of COVID-19 in the United States. We're hopeful that fundamental research like this that we provide every day at McGee will help change the impact of this virus on the rest of the world. We're hoping that we can step up when the nation needs us to take the research that we are so proud of and pivot into something that's topical and timely. So when I tell you that story, I say it's important that we do what we do every day so that we can be ready for crises that come down the road, whether they be crises that we know about or crises that we don't. Because when we have a fundamental base, we can solve for problems quickly and easily. We're very proud of the work we do at McGee that starts here in Pittsburgh, but creates impact all over the world. And we're extremely honored to be celebrating the work you do, not only in 2020, but through your entire careers. You've really led your organizations to create the world that you wanted to see. And you've impacted the Pittsburgh community, the corporate community, and the world community. And we'd like to say thank you. We're extremely proud to be a part of this organization and a part of this celebration of your efforts. So class of 2020, congratulations. And thank you for all you do.
And now, please join us as we begin to recognize our 2020 Women of Influence. Lisa Abel Palmieri, the President and CEO, Boys and Girls Clubs of Western Pennsylvania.
It is such an honor to be named a Woman of Influence. All of the strong female role models I've had in my life hopefully are very proud of the time and the energy they have poured into me. And absolutely, I intend to do the same with the younger generation of emerging female leaders and represent this amazing class of women, not only this year, but in previous years and in the future as well.
Meryl Ainsman, Executive Director of the Philip Chosky Charitable and Educational Foundation.
I don't really feel comfortable with the term woman of influence. I don't do what it is that I do to make an impression or to get a title. It's really, I do what I believe in. I act the way I do because that's what I feel. And if it happens to influence people or if it happens to have an impact on individuals or companies or the world, actually, that's why I do what I do, not really to have a title.
Deb Banks, the Executive Director of the American Heart Association.
When I found out that I was selected to be one of Pittsburgh's Women of Influence, I was incredibly humbled and honored. I've watched over the years of all the different people that have been selected, and to think that I was one of them surprised me. I don't look at what I do as I am a leader, but I don't see myself as a woman of influence. And then when I started really reading, I was really impressed by all that our organization does, and I'm the head of the Heart Association here. It was really great to see all the different, all the diversity in industry. And usually when I think of women of influence, I think CEOs of companies. I don't necessarily think CEOs of nonprofits. But I was really surprised and really humbled and very, very honored. The work that the American Heart Association does in the community helps everybody from every type of background, ethnicity, and community.
Melissa Bauer, the Executive Vice President at Kribel Companies.
When I heard about the Woman of Influence, I heard it from a dear friend of mine, Joy Dunbar, who is the chair for the Clarion University Trustees. And she's who nominated me and told me about it. And it was exciting to hear about it, and especially being from Northwestern PA and being one of the first in Clarion County. We don't really see ourselves as influential up here. We're hard workers, and we really just like to fly under the radar and do what we need to do.
Kenya Boswell, president at the BNY Mellon Foundation of Southwestern Pennsylvania.
To be a woman of influence, it reminded me of the responsibility I have to make sure I continue to provide access to others and use the platform that I have access to advance some of the causes and issues that I care deeply about.
Kimberly Brown, partner at Jones Day.
To me, being a woman of influence really boils down to recognition of the hope of accomplishment. We all had dreams for ourselves when we were growing up and even as young adults. And it is some recognition that I've been on the right path, never an end to the path, but on the right way.
Rosa Maria Cristello, Executive Director at the Latino Community Center.
To me, being a woman of influence means it means that you have partners, you have people around you that are supporting the same vision and cause that you are helping to drive. It means that you've done a good job at explaining what that is, and you've engaged people in that cause to stand with you, to fight with you, to just support you in whatever way that they can.
When we shifted to more remote working, the boundaries of a beginning and end of the day in an office disappeared. And I think that the challenge of really switching gears, those blurred lines of when you begin and end your day, became a little bit more difficult in this working remote environment.
Whatever would take me in the office to do in 10 minutes was taking me a half an hour to do at home. So it was a lot more difficult. Also, just like the rest of the world, we all lived on Zoom calls. And some days there were 6, 7, 8 Zoom calls in a row, and it was overwhelming.
I think that in any crisis, balance kind of goes out the window. And if you can find somebody who tells me that they're unbalanced, I would like to talk to them. But I think, particularly in a leadership capacity, you have to really be managing for the whole.
We all juggle a lot of balls. I think, to be able to really be present in whatever ball it is that we're focusing on the most, whether it's a, personal or professional matter is incredibly important.
I think we have to be much more intentional about where we put our energy and where we can best kind of serve the various kind of stakeholders in our lives, and make sure that we also are taking time for ourselves. So it's a work in progress. It always will be. But I think the beautiful thing about the pandemic is we're all in the same boat together.
It was really just about being strategic in how I spent my time, not only for the children that we serve and the children of my family, but also for the staff, also going through a lot of change.
It's a little different than normal life because you don't have the stressors of after-school activities and sports and other things. I have children. And with all of that being canceled, I found that we could have a lot more flexibility in our time as a family.
My family's at home, my kids are at home, my husband's at home, and so we're forced to, be home and engage in a way that I think before, maybe too much running around. Maybe we didn't take the time that we needed to.
I have, as a working mom, never had the opportunity to spend as much time with my children as I have. So that's the silver lining.
Having the opportunity to take, when you've got 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, to have a conversation with your kids or your husband, or eat lunch with them at the kitchen table, things that are just an impossibility in normal life. So I think that's been wonderful.
Everyone has had to really alter their ways of living and working, and we've found new ways to be encouraging and helpful to each other. And I think those ways, I hope, will stick once we are able to be back and see each other again.
It is so important that we connect with each other, not just during meetings over video chats, just to reach out to our fellow colleagues to see how they're doing, how their weekends went, and share things that are going on in your life. Being remote is hard, and we need to make sure we're intentional about connecting with each other.
I've really let go of the idea of trying to find work-life balance, and I've really accepted that this is a survival and this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. And so there's going to take a lot of stamina to get through the pandemic. I don't know that I'm seeking balance. I'm really just trying to do the best that I can by my family, by myself, by the company that I'm building, and going to sleep and trying to do it all again the next day.
Let us continue honoring our women of influence. Kenyoki Kroll, Senior Vice President, Clinical Access at Allegheny Health Network.
To me, to be a woman of influence, I think it means that you strive to always be your authentic self. I think also show and share with people that you can be professional, driven, and accomplished, but also be compassionate and kind. And finally, I think it's about giving back where you can, whether it's through community impact, serving on boards, mentoring or sponsoring other people, and providing them any support, knowledge, wisdom that will be helpful.
Sloan Davidson, founder and CEO at Hello Neighbor.
To be a woman of influence, to me, is such an incredible honor. The leadership and history of women in Pittsburgh is so incredibly rich and deep. And I'm a native Pittsburgher, born and raised. My own mother is a trailblazing entrepreneur that built her career in Pittsburgh. And so, it really is such an honor to be included with other women doing incredible work, and also to be recognized for this incredible organization that I founded and built over just the last 3 years.
Vanessa Dodds, President and CEO at Connections for Success.
I'm honored to be recognized as a 2020 Woman of Influence. I'm grateful that I have the potential to be a mentor to other women striving for thought leadership and influence in their career. I find that when you're passionate about what you're doing and giving back to the community, that it's easy to make an impact and then also garner support for all of your initiatives.
Tracy Evans, the Executive Director at the Wilkinsburg Community Development Corporation.
It's an honor to be chosen as a Woman of Influence by the Pittsburgh Business Times this year. 2020 has been a terrific year here for the Wilkinsburg Community Development Corporation, so I'm very pleased to have this recognition for the work that we've been doing for the community.
Mary Finger, President of Seton Hill University.
For me, to be named a Woman of Influence has been a great honor. I'm very humbled by this. I'm with an extraordinary group of leaders here in Pittsburgh, and I'm just, again, very humbled and thankful for this great honor. And I think that as the president of Seton Hill University, the founders of this university were the Sisters of Charity of Seton Hill. They founded it more than 100 years ago. Very, very strong women. I follow in their footsteps. I'm really fortunate to be with such a great group of current influential leaders, as well as having these extraordinary women that have been the backbone of this institution that I've been able to follow.
Alicia Harvey-Smith, the President and CEO at Pittsburgh Technical College.
Being a woman of influence, first of all, I just have to take that in for a moment and smile a bit. It means a great deal, to be quite honest. I've been in this field for many years, and I think that I certainly have enjoyed helping women make career decisions and prepare professionally. And so being recognized as a woman of influence means that certainly the work that I've done has been validated in many ways. So I'm just honored to be among the women that you're selected, and it takes obviously great accountability as well to be a woman of influence. And I think that it's something that we should be very proud of and continue to move forward with.
If I could have dinner with any famous woman.
Any famous woman, dead or alive, who would it be?
If I were to be able to have dinner with any woman.
If I could have dinner with anybody,
I think Jackie Kennedy. I would love to hear all the stories of what she went through, positive, negative, just such an interesting and dynamic life.
Gosh, it's so hard to focus in on one.
I would have to say Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama, without a doubt.
Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama.
I'll go with Michelle. I think she's a fascinating woman, and I love her style and the way she has stood for various issues.
I would love to have dinner with Indra Nooyi, the former CEO and chair of PepsiCo. I just think she's a fascinating leader, global leader from a very interesting background.
As a kid, at one point in time, I did want to be a judge until I realized, all the schooling that they had to go through, right? But definitely Sandra Day O'Connor if I could.
Sonia Sotomayor.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
I think Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman. We had an opportunity to go to her museum in upstate New York a couple of years ago and really learn about the incredible bravery that this woman took on to free enslaved African Americans.
I would have to pick Elizabeth Cady Stanton. So I'm from the Finger Lakes area where the suffragettes had the Seneca Falls Women's Rights Convention in 1848. And so I would want to ask her how she managed to pull that off in 3 days.
Oh, Kamala Harris, let's just say it. Wouldn't I love to have a chance to talk to her and learn from her?
I'm trying to think of someone that
Dead or alive, it would be Mary Ellen Escondera from the Women's World Banking Organization. She has really been a pioneer within the organization. She's been instrumental in reaching many, many different communities. And I would love to sit with her and talk to her about her life's work.
Nikki Haley. I think she has been able to utilize her strengths in a male environment, especially being the UN ambassador and standing up for women's rights.
I think it would be Melinda Gates because of her tremendous contribution to the world of philanthropy.
I would love to sit down with Reese Witherspoon. She's built her career as an author, as a producer, as somebody who champions justice and inclusivity.
My aunt, because she was someone who had a great impact on me. As a businesswoman, a career woman, a woman of faith, of honor, lived to be 107, so she understood how good it was to have a life on a life.
My family.
It would be my mother. Actually, unfortunately, she has passed a few years ago, but we have a lot to catch up on,
I'd just be happy to go out to dinner right now. That's good. I'd be happy with my family and a cocktail and a nice meal, yeah.
Let us continue honoring our women of influence. Rachel Hopkins, Senior Vice President and Senior Director at Burson, Cohn & Wolfe.
To be a woman of influence, I mean, it was an absolute honor to be nominated. It was a surprise. It was, it's a privilege. And with just kind of being in this circle of wonderful people, inspiring women in so many different ways, nonprofits, people in the corporate sector, it's incredible to be named among this group. And I think to me, what it means is I have a responsibility, and that is to give back to others and make sure that I'm always being intentional and taking time to give back and share and help others grow.
Courtney Horrigan, partner at Reed Smith.
It's an incredible honor because I have attended the awards for a number of years and seen all of the women in the community
who have done such incredible things to advance their businesses, the arts, and the community in general. And so to be included amongst that group is a true honor and something that I am very glad to celebrate. I've also appreciated getting to know the other people that are being honored this year. It's an incredible and inspiring group of women. And I look forward to being able to get together with them again in person at some point in time.
Stacy Hukno, General Auditor at PNC Bank.
I am honored to be a woman of influence, and I appreciate my fellow colleagues that nominated me. I appreciate being honored with this wonderful group of women that makes a difference in their communities and the workplace. This is a true honor that I hope to continue to uphold by being an influence in our community and with my coworkers and in the charitable events and activities I do.
Alani Lucido, the Vice President and General Manager, United States and Canada for MSA Safety, Inc.
Being a woman of influence for me is really about being a constant learner. The more that you can learn and grow and gain in your knowledge and your experiences allows you to be more credible, and it allows you to engage with a broader set of experiences and people. And the reason that's so important is that because influence is about having an impact on someone or something. It's about driving that change. And so by having that credibility, it allows people to trust you. It gives you that background for, that next step in helping to support others develop and grow, but also to drive impact and change the way that you need to. I also think every day you have to show up and give the best that you can be. I think striving for excellence is the way that you can ultimately influence others. If you set that example, if you're that person that people can look up to and can see that you're giving all that you can and you want to learn and grow and you're going to support and trust, establish a relationship of trust, then people will ultimately want to work with you.
Peggy Morrison-Uten, Executive Director at the Robert Morris University Bayer Center for Nonprofit Management.
How about that I am a woman of influence? That's surprising and wonderful all in itself. But I hope that influence is helpful to other people. That what I am hoping for in my work is that people see themselves as life-sized, as powerful, as useful to society, as part of what makes us good and rich and interesting as a place to live and work and play. So that's what it means to me to be a woman of influence, influence for the good.
Joanna Papada, the Vice President of Government and External Relations at Manchester Bidwell Corporation.
To be named a woman of influence and be nominated by my boss was very special to me. I've worked for Bill Strickland for over 25 years, and the work we do there is more of what a lifestyle is like. It's a lifestyle of really trusting and respecting all individuals who walk through our door. So I've been very fortunate to have the influence to replicate what we do in Pittsburgh across the country, and more importantly, across the state. And I think now more than ever, centers like us who really believe that everyone needs to be respected, everyone has obstacles, and the more we make those obstacles and those barrier-free, we're going to have a better civil society.
If I wasn't on my current job, my dream job would be...
My dream job
would be...
I would love to travel around the world and be some type of tour guide in a beautiful beach or island somewhere.
I always wanted to be a travel agent because I love to travel, and it just seems like that would somehow align to my inner soul.
Probably something outdoors. Leading kayak trips down the river would be a nice next gig for me.
If I didn't need a job, maybe, if I could just survive.
I love, love, love to travel. So I would say traveling the world as a travel writer.
A travel blogger or somebody who could really kind of experience different parts of the world and bring that back to others?
I don't know.
An English professor in college somewhere, or a professional ballet dancer. My ballerina dream never died.
I don't know.
Professor.
I would be a life flight nurse.
My dream was always to be a playwright. It's one of those things I put aside, but I think, maybe my dream job would still continue to be that. And I have a whole drawer full of plays if you want to see them.
I don't know if I have one.
I have a really long wish list.
To write mystery stories. I like mystery stories with the accidental detective, and I would think it would be great fun to create an accidental detective and then a whole host of backstory for this person and write great mysteries that make people really have to think.
I'm doing my passion job.
I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
I would bartend on a beach.
Staying home with my boys.
Writing and presenting.
Being an instructor at the Clarion County YMCA. I think that would be an excellent job and fun. What a satisfying job.
And I think I'd love to just get back into mapping and GIS.
I would love to be an ambassador or have a congressional appointment to do something to serve our country.
I would want to do a position where I could effectively work on local government consolidation and have less fragmentation. I think that that's a huge challenge in Allegheny County that hasn't been solved, and I would love to work on that.
I would open my own coffee shop, and it would be sort of a artisanal incubator space for teens and young people to sort of sell their things that they make, as well as potentially do some sort of like bakery and or baking program and serve really amazing coffee that folks can learn about the bean and where it was produced and the farmers that made it, and sort of have a really cool international to local relationship with these farmers and helping them build schools and get education for their kids. And so, I would love to do that someday and have my own coffee/education venture.
I would love to do voices for inanimate objects like dolls and toys, right? I just think it would be fun to act like a 2-year-old and get paid to sound like a 2-year-old for something, right?
Hello, Mommy. I'm hungry, Mommy.
So that would be like the dream job.
Pastry chef, and this is hilarious because I cannot cook or bake for the life of me, but on TV it looks so fun and it makes people happy, so that would be my dream job.
Let us continue honoring our women of influence. Rachel Petroselli, the president of the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh Foundation.
The opportunity to be recognized as a woman of influence is especially meaningful knowing that the nomination came from my colleagues, people that I've had the privilege of working with alongside for many years at the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh Foundation. There are many women that influenced my life and my career, and to know that I, in some way, measure up to that caliber of a person of influence, a woman of influence in others' perspectives is just really such an honor. And the best way, I believe, to pay forward for the great influence I've benefited from is to help others have that support in their lives.
Deborah Rice Johnson, president of Highmark Inc.
To be named a woman of influence is so meaningful for many reasons. One, I have a young daughter who's 23 in her master's program, and she loves to see these things, but it gives her ideas of what she wants to really think about in her future career. I have a stepdaughter who's in high school, and she loves sitting around whenever I'm working over the weekend or on many conference calls at home right now, right, with COVID. And I think having the opportunity, to really share with mentees. I mentor people in and outside of the company, and having the ability to, really point to something and, share another level of, confidence and ability to have deeper conversations, about leadership. This kind of award just really is another proof point, and I am just honored and humbled.
Jessica Rock, Public Relations and Communications Executive. Jessica was unable to join us on video. Bobby Watt Gear, President and CEO of the United Way of Southwestern Pennsylvania.
Being a woman of influence, of course, is an incredible honor. It has meant that I've been able to connect with a number of other really amazing women leaders in our community and establish relationships that I'm sure will carry forward in my career. And on a more personal note, it's uplifting, and I was really excited to tell my mother and have her come to the event pre-pandemic. So we're missing that, but it's a personal honor. It's a professional honor, and one that I really appreciate.
Angela Wieland, Vice President of Communications at FedEx Ground.
Being a woman of influence to me means I am someone who is trusted for my expertise. I am someone whose opinions and insights are both heard and valued. And I'm someone who wants to be a part of shaping the future. And all of this I find to be true, but it makes it especially honoring and humbling.
Penny Zacharias, partner at McGuire Woods LLP.
To be a woman of influence is a great honor, and I'm thrilled to be in such great company with all of the other awardees this year. It's a fantastic group that I've gotten to know, and it means serving in one's community, giving back, being an example to others, both within your organization and in other areas of your life, and just paying it forward.
I would say to women who are just entering the workforce as they prepare for a more successful career, I would encourage them to create a plan from the very beginning. I would encourage them to seek out a mentor to support and provide feedback.
Make sure that you are looking for mentors, looking for people who you can connect with, who can share advice or answer questions that you have.
Stay sharp and aware of what's happening in the industries, in the world, so you're in tune and know how to respond.
I think upcoming generations have to be adaptable. I think we have to look at what COVID has taught us is to value the knowledge as it comes into us.
You need to be able to easily change and adapt to your circumstances. And then when you see an opportunity in there, have the courage to go for it.
When women apply for jobs, they go through every single line and say, oh, I don't know if I'm qualified for that. And so what I say to women who are coming up, go for it. You're qualified, you're smart, you can do any job that a man can do, so just apply.
It is okay to fail. And that sometimes when you fail, wonderful things can happen, even if you're choosing a different path than what you thought.
If I look back to when, I graduated from undergrad, I had sort of this vision. I had the 3-year plan, a 4-year plan, the 10-year plan, a lot of, hiccups or even changes to that plan resulted in more opportunity, more experience, and allowed me to actually find a career and passion that I didn't even know existed.
If you see an opportunity, if something doesn't feel right, speak up, because chances are it's something that needs changed. And more than likely, you're going to have others around you that will agree with that and may not have the courage to speak up to change that, but you can.
If you see an opportunity to make something better, make something different, don't wait for somebody to tell you to do that. Be that leader, go after something to drive change, to make positive improvements, because that's what people will recognize, and that's what people will want to see.
I have always believed that the best way to be successful in your career is be incredibly committed to the work that you're doing, love the work that you're doing, and lead by doing that work. And what success will follow because you've done that.
I think having a passion for your career, for what you're doing, is going to see you through in the long run. I can't imagine having a job that I didn't truly love.
To me, success is measured by your own personal satisfaction and the good you've done in the role that you're active in. So you have to love what you're doing.
We are blessed in this community to have many young women who are not only smart, they are kind, and they are interested in having a whole community that embraces everyone's lives, that is just and fair and humane and kind. And I look with such enthusiasm at the young women who are opening their voices up and saying, it's got to be better now.
Now to introduce our Career Achievement Awardee is Carrie Coghill, Chair of the Board of Directors for Magee Women's Research Institute.
Good afternoon. It is a privilege to be a part of this program. To shine a spotlight on these amazing women during a pandemic has special meaning, for it is these leaders that inspire us to keep moving forward. As a previous winner of this honor, I know how important it is to celebrate these accomplishments, because I know firsthand that many of you, maybe all of you, have worked countless long hours without recognition in pursuit of your goals. The women gathered here tonight represent critical mass. Studies show that when women achieve leadership roles in just 25% of their organizations, they become levers that can shift paradigms. Organizations become more equitable, they also become more creative, more profitable, and more efficient. But achieving that critical mass isn't easy, as all of you in this room well know. It means finding the courage to rattle some cages. It means growing the confidence to challenge the status quo. And it sometimes means accepting your role as a lightning rod, because change is not easy to accomplish. Some mountains resist being moved, but if we are going to progress as a society, it is absolutely necessary. So while your path may not have been easy, we also know that we are better off for it. For that, we are grateful. And tonight, we thank you for stepping up in that role and leading the way forward. At the Magee Women's Research Institute and Foundation, we walk beside you in this journey. We are working every day to create change, to close gaps in scientific knowledge, to find new answers for women and infants, and to bring women's health to the forefront of international research. We know that changing outcomes in women's health doesn't just impact women, it's a game changer for everyone. Why? Because while women represent 50% of the population, we also represent 100% of the future, since boys and girls are both born to, you guessed it, women. We also know that as with any worthwhile endeavor, challenges lie ahead, and we will rise to meet our respective challenges, because that drive is fundamental to who we are. It is why we are here tonight. So before we return to the business of changing the world, we salute you, the 2020 class of the Women of Influence, for being those levers of change and for moving those mountains. Wherever you started and wherever you may be in that journey, know that your struggle has been worth it, and know that we see you and we thank you. And now I would like to introduce the 2020 winner of the Career Achievement Award, Maggie Hardy Knox.
We are pleased to present the 2020 Women of Influence Career Achievement Award to Maggie Hardy Knox, owner and president of 84 Lumber and Nemacolin Woodlands Resort.
The time that stands out for me with Maggie, and I believe what really defines her as a leader, is when she led 84 Lumber through the worst financial crisis and the worst housing crisis in our lifetime.
Maggie is just a tremendous leader. She's passionate about what she does. She cares about her people. She's very supportive in what she gives us and in each of us. She wants to see us succeed. Her goal, her vision is to make everybody successful and give them the tools that they need to reach their top, the best, to be the best that they can be. And she lives that each and every day.
To have peace of mind, to me, is true success. It's not about riches. It's not about all the wins in life. It's about truly having love, peace, and really just having a wonderful time in life. That to me is success. To see people around you succeed and succeed more than you ever thought. To take someone who's an ordinary person and give them the tools and the knowledge they need to become extra special individuals. Well, to witness it, that's what I would deem my definition of success.
Maggie's management style is very, very open, and she gives you a lot of autonomy. She never tells you what to do, just the direction she wants to go in, and then it's on you and your team to make that happen.
You know, growing up in '84 as a child, you know, driving around the country looking for sites with my dad, seeing all the associates when I went in the store, they truly were my brothers and my sisters.
You know, I think it's what I enjoy about Maggie is seeing her when we have a town meeting every year where all of our store managers and our field operations teams come together, and seeing Maggie in front of that team and the passion and the pride that she has for the team that we have and the people, and really the love that everybody has for her. It's just pretty interesting to see that happen every year, and to see her passion when she's really thanking everybody for what they've given to the success that we've had, specifically the last couple of years.
You know, with our family, the Hardy family, you can talk about '84 and then you can talk about Nemacolin, but it goes right back to family, associates, experiences. Nemacolin started really as, you know, something my dad, you know, he had all this money, great success, and he wanted to be able to share that. And that is Nemacolin. It's us. It's a piece of us. It's our home. And we really love to serve, take care of others, but most importantly, we like to share a part of us.
What a list of accomplishments. Congratulations again, Maggie. And congratulations to each of you who we've honored today. We cannot do these programs without the generous support of our sponsors. Thanks so much to McGee Women's Research Institute, Aspire Grant and Development, Nemacolin Woodlands Resort, 84 Lumber, the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh Foundation, and of course, our production team at Skinny Time Media. We could not have pulled this off without their efforts. Thanks to all of you at home for watching. Keep reading us in the Pittsburgh Business Times, and have a great day. Take care.
To learn more about our women of influence and what's happening in the region, please visit the Pittsburgh Business Times online.